The iGaze Games website has been created to work with a wide range of iGaze cameras when both the camera and website have been set up correctly to work together. The website works with your iGaze camera when you are using it to control the mouse cursor position and a left click. In this video, we will look at how to play on the site using the Irisbon Hiru iGaze camera and its Easy Click beginner software on Windows. We have a separate video on using its Pro software on the site. With the Irisbon Hiru camera's Easy Click beginner software, you have constant control of the mouse cursor position, which means you have a few options for how you can choose to play the games. When using the Easy Click software in beginner mode, you move your eyes to move the mouse cursor around the screen and the Windows mouse cursor icon will follow your gaze. You can look at the buttons on screen to hover the mouse cursor over them, and then use the Easy Click software to left click and select these using a dwell, blink or switch, depending on which option you have chosen to use in the Easy Click options. For instance, here we are using the Easy Click beginner software's dwell option, and we can look at the buttons on screen to hover the mouse cursor over them and dwell for a set amount of time to left click and select them. When using Easy Click's beginner mode, you can also choose to use the iGaze Games website's own inbuilt dwell, which has the advantage of being centralized on the on-screen buttons. Some may find that this can help keep their eyes on a target whilst dwelling. You can find this option in the iGaze settings in the controls menu on the site or during the setup wizard. If using this feature, just turn off the dwell click option in the Easy Click software whilst using the website, so you are just using Easy Click to control the mouse cursor and not the clicks. If using the inbuilt dwell, you can also change settings related to this on the site, such as dwell time, and also whether you can make repeat selections whilst dwelling on a button, or whether you need to look away and back between each selection. There are two control schemes built into the website that you can choose between. The first option is Classic, which uses large on-screen buttons to control actions in both the 2D games, such as the board games, and the 3D games, such as Open Drive or Gazy Golf. The second option is Precise, which is more direct and often uses either smaller on-screen targets in the 2D games or uses the mouse cursor position to steer or aim in the 3D games. You can change between these two options in the iGaze settings in the controls menu on the iGaze Games site or in the top left corner of some games. With the Easy Click beginner software, you can interact with the website and all of the games using either the Classic or Precise control schemes. Here we are using the Classic control scheme in some of the 2D games. We are also using the inbuilt dwell, but you can also use the left click option in the Easy Click beginner options. We use combinations of the buttons on the left and right to navigate and select pieces and where to place them. For instance, in chess, we select a button to choose a piece, another button to choose where it moves to, and a third button to make the move. Here we are now using the Precise mode in some of the 2D games, and again using the inbuilt dwell. We can directly select the piece and then select where to place them. Here we are using Classic in the 3D games, and also using the inbuilt dwell. In Open Drive, we use the on-screen arrow buttons to steer, and in Gazy Golf, we use them to aim. For the 3D games, the precise control scheme will change the style of gameplay quite considerably and let you control steering and aiming more directly. When using the precise mode in OpenDrive, the vehicle will follow your gaze as you move the mouse cursor around the environment. You steer left by looking to the left of the vehicle. You steer right by looking to the right. And you go forwards by looking ahead of the vehicle. To brake and then reverse, you look below the vehicle. If playing in classic mode, you will instead have on-screen buttons to select to steer the vehicle. You will first steer and choose which direction to face using the arrow buttons, and then choose to drive by selecting the button at the bottom of the screen in the centre. You will then select a button in the same location to stop the vehicle before changing direction again. If using precise controls, you may find that adjusting the smoothing in the settings in the Easy Click Beginner software helps to make steering feel more responsive and so easier to control. Choosing very low is the most responsive when you move your gaze, making the vehicle feel like it is turning quicker. In Gazy Golf, using the precise controls means that your aim will follow your gaze as you move your mouse cursor. Whilst in Classic, you will use on-screen buttons to direct your aim. You may also find it useful to explore the options within the different games to see what settings can be changed for controls and gameplay too. We hope that this guide has helped with setting up the iGaze Games website to use with your iRespond Hiru and its Easy Click Beginner software. To try the games yourself and play for free, visit www.igazegames.com.